Okay, so I'm just going to deep dive into my own personal experience. I've done 4 internships in the software world, 3 specifically as a product manager. So product management was number 3 on the previous slide. Does anyone have any idea what product management is, or even just a vague understanding? Yes, okay.
I'll give it a guess, but I think it's where you're taking in the needs of a consumer, or a customer, I mean. And as a person that has knowledge in business and in software, you understand what's feasible and what's not, and then you outline what the needs are, and you plan it out and give it on to the developers.
Yeah, that's a perfect description of what it was. Yes, you're working with engineers, you're working with designers, you're working with marketing, and you're working with sales, all to answer a few questions, like what? Number 1, what are we going to build next? Number 2, why is it going to be impactful for the company that you're working at? And number 3, why is it going to be impactful for all the users that use your product? So as a product manager, you are super caring about your product and the people who use it. Across my internships, I've got to work on these 3 products. The first of which was e-devices. I specifically targeted this company in Toronto who make e-readers and audiobooks and everything having to do with reading, because I like to read. It was a company called Rakuten Kobo. What I got to do there was actually work with the hardware, see how it was built, and how it was marketed to our users. Number 2, I worked at a mobile gaming studio in Toronto called Yukon Games. Mobile gaming is a $70 billion industry. It is humongous. I got to work on casino games, so it's a lot of behavior analytics of why people buy something, why people choose to spend on something which they'll get no actual value from. So why people gamble, right? It's a very challenging, interesting topic. And I got to work with game designers and artists just to develop some of those games. And it was a ton of data too, so management engineering really helps with that, with the data analytics sector. And lastly, my last co-op was in financial tech. It was a company called Credit Karma in the Bay Area, and what they do is they specialize in credit cards, personal loans, auto loans, mortgages, taxes, all the fun stuff that you probably have no idea about, but that you're eventually going to need to know. So working on a product like that was a lot of exposure, but good as someone who needs a lot of that information after graduating. Next slide. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about how did management engineering give me a competitive advantage over, say, software engineering or any other program at any other school. So number 1, it is highly collaborative. Some terms you'll have 5 group projects. You're being forced to work with your classmates. You'll understand what motivates them, what challenges them, and how to build something just really, really awesome. And that's important because, especially in my role, I have to work with a variety of different people with a variety of different technical aptitudes. Sometimes I'll have to explain one thing in layman's terms, sometimes I'll have to be highly technical. So being able to be highly collaborative and a team player is super important. Number 2, that goes into technical knowledge. We do such a diverse number of courses, as you saw from Professor Smucker's slides. So from information systems, like knowing how a database works, to optimization, so a lot of statistical analysis. So you'll be able to talk to engineers, you'll be able to talk to marketing about a technical concept. And number 3 is a diverse skill set. You'll hear a lot of times that people say, oh, management engineers, jack of all trades, and it's a really negative connotation towards that, but what it actually means is that you're able to market yourself in 100 different ways, just because we have such a breadth of courses and so much experience in all of these courses. So it really gives you a competitive advantage. All of us up here have at least had one of those roles, so feel free to ask us any questions.